Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ahdurin region. I'm your host, Ahdurin himself, and it's the end of 2024, which means thank you. That's right, we're doing a thank you episode. Thank you, everyone, for being a subscriber, a listener, a watcher. This is going to be one of those like podcasty, me talking to camera, even though there's no camera here type of thing. So feel free to put this on the background and go ahead and do, laundry or cook some food or whatever you end up doing at this time. As we kind of review 2024, kind of do this real casually. Here's some Legends Arceus gameplay, a game that I did not expect to play this year and somehow did. In fact, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of time to review over 2024 and talk about plans for 2025. The early ones, the ones that I you don't understand how many random notes I have on my phone of like, ooh, fun content idea, and then they just stay there forever. So hopefully, I'll talk about a few of them. If you steal my idea, I don't mind as long as you give me credit, and if you do, then I'll be sad, and that's about it. But I want to also review 2024 itself, and I think that's where we're going to start off here. So I actually went back and re-listened to the 2024 plans video thing I did earlier this year, and I'm looking through it, and some of these things I accomplished. Some of these things I am theoretically still working on, and some of these things I'm wondering why I even mentioned them in the first place. So let's go through step by step. If you, for some reason, you want to check that out, it should be called Plans for 2024. You can search it up on the channel. It's got a whopping like 20 views because I doubt many people are looking for plans and stuff like that. So, um, this is let's go through this and let's go step by step over each of the different plans and other things like that. So let's see if we accomplish them. More mystery dungeon challenges. Technically, I accomplished that, though not as many as I'd like to have done. I did not actually. I probably should have done this. I took a bunch of notes and immediately forgot about some. Um, I did not count how many I did. I certainly did not reach the number that I wanted to. We started the starter series this year, and in the episode itself, I talk about, hey, let's see if we can do this every weekend. And I can tell the entire audience, including myself, are just rolling their eyes, like, bro, this guy has never done anything consistently. Why are we talking about that now? The goal was to do 20. I think I did 3 or 4 or something like that. So not nearly there. Um, which is kind of rough. So we're starting off a little rough there. I also talked about a challenge that I started and has been a pain to do because I'm trying to do it legitimately, which is 2 Shedinja in Explorer's Sky. I started that a year ago, and I've gotten nowhere with it because I'm struggling to figure things out. Shocker, without health points, it becomes much more complicated. I also, but, to talk about things I did accomplish, I mentioned earlier this year, I really wanted to play the other Mystery Dungeon games, and my goal was to at least do Gates to Infinity. And we succeeded. Not only did we play through the entirety of Gates to Infinity, we also played through the entirety of Super Mystery Dungeon, which is available on this channel. The entire playlist, first time playing through these games that I've ever done. While I knew general story beats, I had never played them personally. So you and I got to experience those first playthroughs. And I think a lot of what 2024 ended up being and what 2025, especially early on, is going to be for this channel are those first time playthrough type of things. We certainly have the challenges, and the challenges are much more focused on reaching broader audiences that are more interested in those challenge things. But for the people that are here for the Adoran guy that's talking right now, the one thing I really want to try to share, and I've mentioned this before, that the YouTube channel, in a way, while it's cool, it's got subscribers and views, and shout out to all of you for being supporters. The biggest reason why I wanted to do this was as like a video diary in a way, kind of recording and implementing and theoretically keeping forever the ideas and playthroughs and experiences that I had during the first time I played through things. Because it always bothers me that I can't remember the entirety of that first ever Diamond playthrough. I can remember the Blue Rescue Team one, but there's not as much that you need to remember, right? You just remember your starters, maybe move sets, which I don't really remember. But you remember the starters and you remember the story. For the Pokemon games, it's you remember the starters and the Pokemon that you used and the way that you went about things and how you did the things that you did. There's a lot more things to remember in the main series games, and I couldn't remember, and I still can't remember the entirety of that first Diamond playthrough, and a lot of those early playthroughs. So this is sort of a way to video diary that, and also get a little bit of the fame and fortune, because that's how you do it in these universes. Yeah, that's why I'm here, right? To absolutely the fame and fortune that you get from being a small scale Let's Player that's pretending like it's 2010. But we were able to do the gates. We were able to do the Super Mystery Dungeon. We started Legends Arceus, which wasn't even on my radar earlier in the year. I had the game, right? Because it was out at that point. Maybe I don't know. When did Legends Arceus come out? It's been a minute. But the Legends Arceus game, I had it. Didn't even think that it was going to be played this year, and turns out we were able to start it at least, which is very exciting. And that's certainly something that will be carrying over into 2025. By the way, if you're somebody that watches those challenge videos, leave your challenge ideas. I mentioned this in that video. I'll mention it again. I really would like to do challenges in games that I have played before, which now after this year has opened up to a little bit more possibilities, right? We can do a Violet challenge or Scarlet challenge. If you think of any interesting ideas, I would really like to do challenges that nobody's done before, because then I can be the unique little boy that I believe of myself to be. You know, the great guy, uh, MVP caliber performance, and all that sort of stuff. But we can do the Violet Scarlet. We can do now Gates to Infinity challenges. We can do Super Mystery Dungeon challenges. So if you have any ideas about those areas, then you can absolutely do so. I also wanted to make more challenge stuff in the main series games and playthroughs in the main series games. So this time last year, we were playing Pokemon Violet, able to complete that successfully, all of it. We got the main story, DLC 1, DLC 2, the epilogue, the whole 9 yards, which is very exciting. I'm so glad because it is technically, if I'm pretty sure this would be it. Yeah, this would be the first game that I 100% story did. So a lot of the games, I'll finish the main story and then I won't do the post game. Think like Platinum, for example, like Stark Mountain and that little mini story. uh, wouldn't have done that in the past. This is the first game that I've actually accomplished that, so that's really exciting. We finished the main story or the pre-story, depending on how you perceive it, for Pokemon Conquest as well, and I have ideas for post-game stuff for that. Um, which leads into like 2025 stuff. We'll talk about that later, including Conquest challenges. I've started one. I've kind of hit a roadblock with it, and I believe it's probably the same one that I talked about, though didn't actually say what it was early on this year. But that's a cool thing there, so I'm very excited about that. I noted down here that I wanted to play Detective Pikachu and the second one as well, and we didn't get to that this year. I kind of just threw that out there because it is in this vein. While, as you guys probably maybe remember, maybe not, while this is a primarily Pokemon channel, it is not exclusively Pokemon because I play like the Ace Attorney series as well, which we'll talk about that in a second. Um, and the other mystery sort of games. That's kind of what it's just. It's a primarily Pokemon with a bit of a mystery flair to it. And algorithmically, it would be beneficial to separate the two. But when have I done things for the algorithm? Otherwise, I'd be posting things every day. Detective Pikachu is something I'd like to do next year, but we'll talk about that in the 2025 section. I wanted to recreate the original playthroughs. I'm so glad that I mentioned it then, because it's something that we ended up doing. So, recreate the original playthroughs or the Ahdurin stamped playthroughs. Like these are the first ever playthroughs officially. And while we've done that for some of the things, some of the playthroughs, we were able to successfully start that series. At least late this year, we did the very first game I ever played, the first Pokemon game I ever played, recreating it from scratch in a way. It also fit into the starter series, which was the Blue Rescue Team. First game I played through, first run through, the Bulbasaur Pikachu combination that I started with oh so many years ago. I have actually recorded the next one. It's all done, it's completed, beat the champion and everything. And I've done it the exact same way I did originally, way back then. What that is, though, you'll have to wait and see. I think I may have mentioned it. If you know me, then you'll probably remember. Also, I've mentioned it in this very episode, so you'll probably be able to figure it out if you just kind of scroll back a bit. But that'll be coming out hopefully sometime in January. I still have to actually edit it. I also talk about like in the distant future doing like a Wigglytuff solo run for every single game. That's not happening in 2025 unless I become the most efficient YouTuber of all time, and that's not going to happen. I talked about Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney is continuing on. There has been a bit of a break just because December has been busy, but I still want to keep it that same sort of way of like we have the Ace Attorney series kind of on Sundays. Sundays is the day of non Pokemon content, I suppose, while the rest of the week is. If you're interested in that, I highly recommend checking it out. It is very much not the thing that gets the views, but also I love that series. I love detective games, and so I kind of just throw that over there, throw that to the side as we continue on through the year. I noted down on number 4 here. So I got it split up into different sections. We got mystery dungeon challenges, main series stuff, Ace Attorney. I have number 4 as all the other stuff. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that means like non-major franchise games. I would like to do those sort of things. Obviously, algorithmically, it's not the best. So I'm debating, and I'll ask you guys as well. What do you think about the idea of starting another channel? I'm wondering about that because the idea behind it from we'll talk monetarily here, because you need the 1,000 subscribers and the hours and stuff like that. We have one, we don't have the other consistently, and if we start a new channel, there's not a guarantee that people are going to go there because it makes sense, right? If you're here for Pokemon content, you're not going to be fascinated by Detective Grimoire, for example. Um, Fantastic game series. If you haven't played it, you should. But what do you think about that idea? I might not. I have ideas as well, but like jumping into other Pokemon stuff that doesn't quite fit the vibes of this channel, and that might mean another channel. But then that also quickly is turning into now we're talking about three channels, and I can barely operate this one. So yeah, we'll see. But definitely want to do that sort of thing. I'm not big on we're transitioning by the way. I'm not big on like subscriber goals for multiple reasons. One, subscribing while helpful, you should. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment, etc. Uh Subscribers, as you may or may not know, depending on how much you watch YouTube content, doesn't mean as much these days. Like subscribers are really helpful to get the audience to make sure they know that your videos exist. So if you like the Pokemon content we do here and you subscribe, you know that theoretically you will get informed when there is more Pokemon content here or any content in that general. But it doesn't mean a lot when it comes to like introducing new people. And now we're really talking like this is a business, which I have the econ background and everything like that, but there's a hesitation when you turn your hobby into a business. And while everything is turning into a business these days, I kind of want to still have that hobby sort of flair. You get the gist. Where was originally? I'm tangenting at this point. We'll figure out what to do with that and see how we proceed forward from that. That had to do with other channels and other things like that. You get the gist. Anyway, the final thing that I had mentioned here, the final point is that the goal subscribers. That's what it was. Sorry, this is very much tangenty. I'm not going to edit any of this. The subscriber thing is I don't do subscriber goals or view goals or anything like that. The big thing I do is like me goals, like what I produce. And so we accomplished some of them, like mentioned. We finished Violet, we finished Conquest, we did the mystery dungeon stuff. We didn't accomplish others, primarily challenge related stuff, which is unsurprising. Those are the ones that take a lot more effort. But the one goal I really did that had numbers on it was to produce 200 videos this year. Now, this would be like playthroughs, challenges, all those would count equally. The goal was to produce 200 videos this year. I'm not including shorts in this. At the time, I was not producing shorts. Now I am, again, trying to promote to the audience. Wow, look at this guy who pretends like it's 2010. You want to check that out, like the old school days? So I don't count shorts in that 200 videos. And we were able to produce, not including this one would actually make it 180, which is pretty close. I'm very excited about that. Uh, so now we transition over to 2025. Now, I wrote down all the 2024 stuff because I want to do a checklist of like, we did this, we didn't do this. For 2025, I'm going to turn this into a ramble even more. So here we go. What are the goals? Let's break this down into similar sort of sections here. So we'll go mystery dungeon, main Pokemon, other, big goal. So, mystery dungeon stuff. The big things that I'm thinking about are doing Rescue Team DX. I think that is probably a goal to do by the end of summer. I'm not going to make that an immediate short term thing. For one thing, there is a series on the channel right now, right? Legends Arceus. Um, and the second thing is that unlike the other Mystery Dungeon games, this is a series where not only do I know the story beats, you know the story beats, because they're the same for the most part, as far as I know, as the original games. So I'm wondering what to do about that. Whether to do just one giant video, whether to do the playlist sort of thing like we've done here for like legends and gates and all that sort of stuff, whether to do something completely different. Not 100% sure, but I do want to do Rescue Team DX by the end of the summer. That's the big mystery dungeon playthrough thing. The starter series, I said that we could theoretically do it every weekend or try to do 20 of them in the year. I'm not going to be that optimistic for a variety of reasons, mainly because it takes a lot of work. So I think a good goal, that's 52 weeks in a year, I think a good goal to do is one a month. We'll say 12. That's our goal. Whether or not I do more or less, we'll see. In fact, I think there's a chance that we could do more. But I'm going to say we'll aim for 12. That'll be a good chunk of it. We'll actually have some like real stats to compare. We'll have real teams to compare as well. So that'll be exciting there. And then, if you have any challenge ideas, I talk about this all the time. I try to credit those that give the challenge ideas, leave them in the comments. I take snapshots, I put them on an Excel document. Um, so leave your challenge ideas if you have anything interesting. Again, I would prefer them to be in games that I have played before. But if you choose a challenge in a game that I have not played, I will jot it down. We'll play the actual game, and then you'll see this many, many moons down the line. But that's a big thing with Mystery Dungeon. I think the starter series and those random, Explorers of Sky and other sort of things like that. Maybe try to do a Gates or Super Mystery Dungeon challenge. Although those games, from my understanding, are harder to uh, manipulate, if you know what I'm talking about, compared to the main series game. Not the main series, sorry, the Blue Rescue Team and Explorers games, because I know how to do those. So we'll see what we can do with those. With the main series, of course, finishing Legends Arceus is the big must. I mean, we're playing through it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys are as well. And the idea, hopefully, is that we finish that series off. And also, I think that's goal number one. Goal number two is playing through X and Y. And this is all in preparation for Legends ZA, which I believe comes out in quarter 1 of 2025, right? I think sometime. The hope is to finish Arceus and X and Y before then, and then play through that as well. So those are first half of the year, and then second half of the year, go back through and find whatever is missing in that catalog. So as you may know, I took a break from Pokemon between Gen. I didn't do Gen 5, didn't do Gen 6, and came in end of Gen 7. So filling in those gaps is probably the big goal for 2025, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, that feels good. Continuing to do the original playthroughs, continuing to do side series stuff. So that Detective Pikachu thing, we didn't get to it in 2024. I'd like to in 2025. And that feels like good. That feels pretty good for playthrough related things. I still insist on, ruining my channel's health by playing those mystery games. Ace Attorney being the big one. I really want to complete the Ace Attorney game that we're on right now, which I believe is Justice for All. And I think we can finish Justice for All and the oh gosh, what is it? Trials and Tribulations. That's the third one. The second and third games in the Ace Attorney franchise. I want to get through at least both of those, and then we can probably do investigations. I think would that be fun. So we play as Miles Edgeworth, which is very fun because he's a cool character. And then as well, probably try to play at least a couple of other mystery games. And this leads back into: do I do this on a second channel? Do I do this on this channel? Up to you. Let me know what you think. And those are the big things that are there. So the big goal again, subscribers. First off, we hit over 1,300 a while ago. We're at 1,311, I think, right now. Um, which is surprising because I was not expecting to really grow much from the content that isn't the mystery dungeon challenges, because those obviously were the things that's kind of threw this channel into prominence. So shout out to all of you that have recently subscribed. I hope the stuff that we do here is cool. And I, again, not planning on doing any subscriber goal per se, but more. Yeah, that'd be cool. Um, in terms of that, we talked about the specific playthroughs there. Goals this year for videos. Now, I don't plan on ever doing more than a video a day for health of channel, personal health, and all that sort of stuff. We did two. We aimed for 200 last year. We got to 180. So I think what we'll do this year is actually go for 200. We were pretty close without really thinking about it. So let's try to go for 200 videos. Now that maybe not very optimistic. That may be small, but I think we have a shot there. So those are the 2025 goals. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for supporting. Um, I'll actually. Oh shoot, I forgot about this one. The sixth thing that I really want to do, I would like to live stream consistently. And this is where I really think the Rescue Team DX and a few of those other like side series stuff. I'd really like to live stream a little bit, and basically, not maybe not. I don't ever plan or think I could be the person that could do like 5 hours every day, and we're doing all this stuff. I don't have the content for that. You don't have the time for that, maybe. And frankly, I don't think I would be interesting 5 hours in. We only do that for like major charity events and stuff like that, just because of the essence of the event itself. But I do want to have a consistent live streaming schedule by the end of 2025. Whether it's as simple as every, I don't know, Wednesday for an hour between 6 and 7 o'clock, or if it's actually something more along the lines of actual live streamers, not sure. But I do want to have some sort of like consistent enough where you're like you innately know, oh, he's live now at this point. You know, that sort of stuff. So that is a long-term ish goal. We'll figure it out. We'll dabble. We'll experiment. We'll see what times work best for everybody, and then try to go from there. Um, that's the big thing. And then the primarily that live streaming thing is to make the memberships actually mean something, because a lot of it doesn't really mean a lot until I try my best to make it good for video exclusive content. But there's only so much you can really do without live streaming. But then, with live streams, you'll have the emotes and the ability to support the channel and also have some return as opposed to what it is right now, which is basically, unless you're a gold tier, you're kind of just like, hey, let's support the guy and that's it. Which it's greatly appreciated, but also I feel kind of bad for not actually having anything for you. So try to do something with that. My voice is giving out for some reason, so I feel like that's a good sign to end it here. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for subscribing and viewing and liking and all that sort of stuff. It really does help. I know people are very on the fence, if not flat out dislike the idea of starting episodes off with, like, comment, subscribe. I'm not a big fan of that myself. It's just statistically, I think it actually does help with the liking and subscribing and all that sort of stuff. So I'll do it in the side series at the end of the video. In the future, if you like, comment, and subscribe, it helps the channel grow. It makes me very happy, and it doesn't cost you a cent. Yeah, cool. All right, that's my plug. Um, that's about it. That's how we're going to end this here. I have rambled enough. Hopefully, your laundry has been put away, or you have been able to cook and/or eat your food. It's been 20-ish minutes, so maybe not. I don't know what you're cooking today. Hopefully, it's something good. And that about wraps us up here. So, thank you everyone for listening, watching, and supporting in any way, shape, or form that you do. Links in descriptions. Ask some questions. Feel free. I'm still able. I'm not at the size where comments overwhelm me. So if you leave a comment on these videos, the new videos especially, I tend to respond to them. So leave your questions. Toss them away. Uh, cool. Thanks. All right. Thank you so much. I got to do the outro properly, otherwise I don't feel like I can actually click the stop button. So thank you everyone for listening, watching, and supporting in any way, shape, or form that you do. And until next time, sincerely, take care.